Hello and welcome back to the channel this week. This week's episode is, well, me eating a little humble pie, let's say. I gotta say, when I first saw the Fuji X-T50, I was not impressed at all, especially by the darn price. It was way too high. And actually, I still think it's way too high. But you know what? Once I saw the new charcoal silver color here, I started rethinking my position a little bit. Now, I've always been a wimp for a good-looking camera, and I will say the X-T50 is pretty nice looking. So, tell you what, let's look over my decision a little bit and try to discover why I actually made a decision to buy one. I gotta tell you, I have my doubts right off the bat. And in my other video, I really went over the thought process I had behind it. And I really didn't see that there was any reason for them to raise the price as much as they did. Because honestly, I paid like, I think $7.99 for my little X-T30 here, which this is a great little camera, and they've only changed the body design a little bit. You know, they rounded off a few corners here and a little bit deeper grip, and the new camera's a little bit wider to make way for the new sensor. So I gotta say that I just didn't see the need to really bump the price up as much as they did. But you know what? I may be wrong. I still think I'm right to some extent, but bear with me. I'm going to go over the reasons why I purchased this little camera and why I'm selling my X-T3 and my X-T30 to help pay for this new camera. So let me take you through this process a little bit. I gotta say, really wanted to have, I should say this, I've always wanted a good backup camera, and I go back and forth from time to time. I thought about buying another X-T3, but at the time, money was an object. I didn't want to spend any more money, and I really didn't want to come up with the money for a new X-T3, so I bought an X-T30 here. Same sensor, same processor, same everything. Images looked exactly the same. Just some of the controls are a little bit dumbed down, but and obviously a much smaller product. Now, I got to like the smaller camera to take traveling and to go out on, expeditions just around here and whatever it was. I really liked using that camera. So that made me think about my decision for this X-T50. But that cost was always in the back of my mind. And what I came up with is this reasoning here. The X-T5 has it's got that new processor. It's got the 40 megapixel sensor. It's got IBIS in it, and it's a great camera. Now, my biggest problem with the X-T30 is that the video specs on this were not very good at all. 6-minute clips, all that, it just really bothered me. But, and I thought about the X-T30 too, a little bit raised in price, but I decided that, this little camera is going to be my video camera. It's also going to be my out and about camera, and it's going to be my travel camera. The X-T5 is going to be the major portion of my work my news assignments, my sports, my news, and also my landscape work. I'm going to be using the X-T5 with. So that's my reasoning behind it is that I wanted a camera, a backup camera that was basically exactly the same as my X-T5, and this baby is the little brother of the X-T5 because the 40 megapixel sensor, the IBIS in it, and the new processor and better video specs are all there. So, and believe me, I am not a big video guy at all. Me talking and some B-roll here and there, and that's about it. So it doesn't need to have the video specs that video people are looking for. So for me, it's great. Once I got my hands on this thing, I right away noticed this grip is great. It's a little bit bigger than the other one, and it's definitely good. But I don't want to put I didn't want to put an L bracket on this. I wanted to use a grip bracket. Hey, there's that siren again. I wonder what's going on now. Oh, they're talking about this X-T50. I gotta say, it feels the same in hand, except for this little bit bigger grip. The only thing that I did notice is that This pop-up flash is definitely a little bit chintzier feeling than the X-T30s. But you know what? I hardly ever use that flash. I don't remember using it at all, except maybe just to play around with it. Okay, so one of the other things that I moaned about is the fact that the drive dial here is gone. It's kind of gone. Because now there's a little film sim dial, and I said, I poo-pooed it. I said, what do I need a film sim dial for? I like it. I'm sorry. I like being able to just go over there and turn it. It's great. It's funny, they have these function dials, which makes it so you can add more film sims if you want. I haven't. It would be great. This would be great. Fuji, listen to me. Why don't we make these FS dials so you can program in some of your own recipes? Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, 1, 2, and 3. That would be great if I could add my recipes there. But as far as I can tell, you can't do that. So the film sim dial, okay, I give it a thumbs up because I really like it. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The other problems here is, where did the drive dial go to? Well, it went to the trash bucket over here for eliminating photographs. It's now the drive dial, and it's pretty easy. You just push the button and you can go back and forth. It's fine. How many times do you really use it? You go from continuous to single most of the time. Maybe a bracket drive once in a while. But really, it's not really that big a deal. Now, I got to say, there's a lot of buttons on this thing that you can reprogram. My problem is that they're all used up. So what used to be an ISO dial, on my X-T5 is, kind of hidden, and I use it. And it was the same way with my X-T3 here. But, I kind of like it up there. But here's the thing, is I can reprogram it to be available someplace else. I have it in my quick menu, so it works pretty well that way. I've got to say that my perspective on the price versus value for this camera has changed a little bit. Just a little bit. For some reason, I've come to the thought process that I still think it's overpriced. But I do realize they're putting in, they're stuffing in a 40 megapixel sensor with IBIS and the new processor. So there's a lot going on there. For my style of photography right now, I need a main camera for shooting, which is my X-T5. I shoot news and sports with it. And I need a backup that can do basically the same thing. Now, it fills all the same purposes that this X-T30 did, but now it's a little bit beefier, and it definitely does the same job that my X-T5 does. And that's my whole thought process, is that I wanted something that was basically the little brother of the X-T5, which it definitely is that. So in the end, was I wrong about the price of the X-T50 and not buying it? Well, I guess I was wrong about not buying it because I did buy it. But I've got to sell my X-T3 and my I got to sell my X-T3 and my X-T30 to pay for it. The reason I got it was because it was basically the same thing as my X-T5, except in a smaller, lighter body. So what really bothers me about this camera? The old small battery. That really bothers me. Because of the fact that it's got newer technology in it. What does that mean? I can tell you what it means. It means it kills the damn battery faster. You got to shut stuff off, because if you don't, it kills the battery much quicker. The new processor, larger sensor, it definitely is. It's definitely creating a problem with the battery. So let me know what your thoughts are on the X-T50. Is it really the baby brother of the X-T5? I think it is. Do you think it's worth the money? Let me know in the comments below what you think. So next week's video, or maybe not next week, the week after, whatever it is, the next video I do is going to be how I set this thing up and how I make sure the battery doesn't die on me. So I'm going to do a user experience shooting with this camera. I'm going to show you some pictures. It'll be well worth it. So stay tuned for the next video on the Fujifilm X-T50. So that's it for this week, and I hope you enjoyed my little reasoning behind purchasing this camera. Because so far I like it. I'll tell you in the next video what I've done, but it's I've done some things to make it more palatable, and I'm hoping the Fuji comes through with their grip that they normally make for these cameras, which would be awesome. And if you wouldn't mind, please check out CapeAndPhotoTours.com. Bill Fortney and I are still looking for 1 or 2 more people to come to our fall workshop up on the Maine coast. It's going to be great. Right now we got about 8 people signed up. It's going to be awesome. And if you wouldn't mind, hey, like, subscribe, and comment. That would be great. Share the video. That would be awesome too. And that's it for this weekend. Remember, it's the, oh wait, one other thing. If you notice, I got a store underneath here where you can buy mugs and shirts and all that other stuff. I'm going to make sure that I have a mug to show you next time. So that's it for this week. And remember, it's not what you photograph, it's how you photograph it. And we'll catch you next time.